Hi dancers, welcome to another tutorial. I'm so happy that you're here with me. Today we're going to break down the basic twist shimmy, and we're also going to talk about some common problems and ways to improve it even if you already are familiar with the movement. So beginners, check towards the beginning of the video, and I always encourage people, review the basics. The basics are the most important. But if you already know, you can kind of skip ahead to the improving section. So let's get right into it. Here we go. So the first thing to understand with twist shimmy, this is the only movement that I'm personally aware of that actually changes muscle group depending on how fast you're doing the movement. I'll explain in a second. But that is what makes this difficult, because a lot of us learn the twist, but once we speed it up to a shimmy, we're a little bit at a loss because it changes the feeling, but we're not quite sure how or why. And this actually took me a few years within my teaching career to really figure this out. So hopefully this will make sense. And if you already know how to shimmy, do the twist shimmy, but you need to improve it, hopefully this will help as well. But we'll start from the beginning and we'll kind of work our way into that. So most important thing is we're going to start in second position. We're still lifting up through the hip flexors, which I discuss in a lot of my videos. We need the pelvis to be fairly neutral, because we can have a posterior or an anterior tilt. This one is more common, and unfortunately it's also worse for dancing. So we really need to have an active core, active psoas. All right, so weight's going to be evenly distributed through your feet for now, and we're going to think of lifting up through the chest. Very important. Let me scooch this a little bit so you can see better. So we don't want to slouch, we want to lift and squeeze through the lats to give our hips more room to move. From there, soft knees, even though they're straight, so don't bend, but don't lock, right? We're going to twist through the oblique muscle and return to neutral. Other side. Twist your hip bone forward and back. If at first you need to kind of follow, or you feel your hands reacting, don't worry too much about that. If you're familiar with it already, you want to work on cleaning that up, all right? But very important that you resist the movement with the upper oblique. So the lower oblique twists forward, upper oblique twists back. So rather than thinking of not moving, I want you to think of a shear twist with force going in both directions. Sorry, I'm doing that backwards. It would be this way. I'll do my arms this way. Upper body pushes that way, lower body pushes that way. That's what creates the illusion of isolation. All right, so twist, twist. I want you to look at my ankles now, and you can hear my knee popping. But you'll notice that my leg has to do a little bit of an inward rotation, and I have to roll my ankles in a little bit. So if you have sore ankles, that's why. Especially if you have a prior injury or you already have tight ankles, this can be a little tricky. It's only going to be noticeable like this when you're doing a big extroverted movement, driving from the obliques, right? 2, 3, 4. Now we can go up to a certain speed with the same exact technique. Knees are soft, relax the outsides of your legs, lift up and away. Try not to get the arms too involved, but be aware they're going to move a little bit. It's only natural. So with my obliques, this is about as fast as I can go, right? So if you want to go for this little twist shimmy, here's what we do. It's a different technique. Took me forever. Like I said, took me forever to figure that out. For this, I want you to think of pressing your heels into the ground. Make sure that your weight is rolled more to the outside of your feet. Don't do this, right? Not too much, but we're going to make sure that the tailbone's going straight down, and I want you to think of your underbutt, okay, right where your hamstring comes up, and also a little bit in your gluteus minimus, right here, okay, so we're thinking right in there. It's not your glutes, it's under, okay, so like when you squat back, think of right there. All right, it's a weird spot to talk about, but I want you to think of your hamstring being very strong, not too tight, but very very strong, and the outer thigh muscles and your glutes are going to sort of start to rotate around that pillar. So if I show you with my arms, because it's a little easier to visualize, you're doing this. So it's like a light bulb twist movement. Don't go in the same direction, you have to go opposites. But see how that movement, that twisting is coming in my arms? We're thinking of the same thing here. Very small though, so it is difficult to see. But if I slow it down, it is difficult to do it without the speed, but pushing into the floor. So I'll show you here, not there. Squeeze, weight in your heels, not in your toes. Okay, so weight in the heels, and twist, 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 twist. So if you really look, you'll be able to see this movement is coming from my outer leg, not from my obliques. I'm gonna come closer and show you the difference. So here's working from my obliques, and you'll see there is a little bit of movement in my upper body. It's pretty impossible to be perfectly stable. And then there is the tight movement. And from the side, so it really is coming from my legs, but don't fall into the habit of doing this, right? It's not forward and back, it's rotating. If you really struggle with that feeling, you can sort of force it from the feet just to get the feeling of it. So you roll and you roll. So there's a little bit, if you really look at my ankles, right? Now again, this is just to sort of feel it and kind of get the idea. You don't want to do that, and you can't do that full speed, okay? So it's not coming from your ankles, but when you're moving correctly, you're gonna feel a little bit of that rolling in and out and that twisting. All right, so here again is the obliques. Make sure, lift up. Sorry, ignore my dog. We can also do a lock, twist, 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 twist. So that is the same technique as a big loose oblique shimmy. But if you want to go smaller, see how different that looks. Now, on contrary here, here's a vertical shimmy, and here's a knee-only shimmy, and here's a glute shimmy. They're all different, okay? Subtle differences. Make sure you're not doing one when you're trying to do the other, right? So there you have it, you guys. Basic technique for both the loose oblique shimmy and the tighter leg shimmy. I hope that helps. If you have problems or questions, feel free to comment. If you look on my videos, I respond to comments. I'm fairly present. It might take me a week or even 2 to get to all the comments, but I do try to help you guys in any way that I can. And yeah, I hope this really helps. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye!